All right, guys. Welcome and good morning to all of you. Good evening if you watch this later on. Today we have with us Nikhil, who has converted IIM Bangalore. This was supposed to be done somewhere around last week, but we also had another session last week scheduled for somebody who had converted IIM Ahmedabad. Uh, we had a cyclone in Goa, just a small thing, which happened across the nation. So uh, an internet blockout was there for 2 days. We had no power, no internet, enforced break as such. So we are back right now. So let's hope that my voice, etc., is audible to you. Now, this today's session is basically about Nikhil, and we will be just hearing about Nikhil's journey from working to what are the interesting questions that he faced during the GDPI rounds and the interview process as such. Nikhil, welcome. First question, like, what was the reaction when you actually converted IIM Bangalore?
Actually, frankly speaking, last 2 weeks were, kind of a bit frustrating for me. People were expecting that, results will be coming out by April end week first. And then there was speculation, it will come in the May first week. So in the groups every day, some or the other guy, he used to con the adcom and they used to reply that by the end of this week. So when we reached the end of this week, so their reply used to be like, okay, next Monday. And then it was finally they dates got used to postpone, and finally on May 13th, this first IIM Ahmedabad results came out. So when I checked out that, I was waitlisted in that, and
waitlist 15, right?
Yeah, I have waitlist 15, and yes, sir.
And from my personal experience, I was waitlist 30 and I did convert it, but let's see.
Yeah, yes.
What happens?
Yeah, so there was a good friend of mine and my colleague also. So he converted IIM Ahmedabad this year. So so I felt a bit low. So if I would have also converted, we both would have been celebrating right now. So anyway, I'm happy for it. So the next day, May 14th, so again similar story happened. People started calling Adcom Bangalore, and they replied that by the end of this week or next Monday. So I waited till afternoon, and I was kind of.
And 14th is a Friday, so I don't know what end of the week. What does end of the week mean for them, right?
But actually, a few colleges were releasing on Saturday and Sunday as well. So people were hoping that even on Saturday, Sunday result might come. Yeah. So finally, Friday afternoon. So actually, I slept around 4 o'clock, sir, and then I woke around at 5:30 p.m. So I had a few missed calls, and this friend of mine who converted Ahmedabad, Raghav, so he texted me in WhatsApp. So there was an image, and in below, he wrote that Bangalore converted. So I didn't even bother to open the image. So I thought that he converted. I said, "Congratulations, bro, you did it again this time." So he said that कि यार ये मेरा result नहीं तेरी बात कर रहा हूँ करके. Then sir, I was a bit kind of shocked at that time. So before I could go through the WhatsApp messages to find out the link, I had a Gmail notification. So I opened that and I saw that, IIM Bangalore, pleased to welcome, welcomes you for this PGP program. So that was, after, all the load that I had went the last year and this year. So finally there was a huge sigh of relief that, okay, at last, I converted, one of the best colleges. So I was really very happy. And so currently right now I'm in my hometown. So my parents were there and my relatives were there. So it was a good moment at that time to celebrate with all of them.
Okay, nice. So let us start with your journey again. So this is not your first attempt at CAT. I mean, can you please briefly walk us through your past experiences, as well as how was it? I mean, you had a job, then in between you left it for some reasons. And how did you manage your schedule, especially during lockdown? Did it help you, etc.? Can you just briefly walk us through your schedule of preparation?
Yes, sir. So actually, I've been working with Bajaj Auto in Pune. So in March, there was a lockdown, and Pune was one of the worst affected cities over there. So yeah, for April until May, we were working from home. So one of the drawback with the working from home was that, sir, when you go to office, you kind of have a fixed schedule. like from morning 8 to 5:30. But like working from home, there's nothing kind of like working hours. They can call you at any time, at any like sir, any day, and you can tell that like we have kind this sort of problem, or we need to work on this, and like we used to start working. So the only thing that like there was random working hours, and like random hours for preparation. So but yeah, I need to agree the fact that like during the lockdown I got ample amount of time to plan out for myself. And so that was the time, sir, like when I thought of like preparing for CAT again, because in 2019 also like I attempted, but that wasn't kind of a serious attempt, because there was a lot of distractions, especially with my work. And yes, I need to agree that like I wasn't also that serious about it. I used to be like very casual ki, chalo theek hai, ho jayega, prepare kar lenge, and all of that. But the one more thing, main like serious motivation was that like when May the results came out for the other batches, and you see your friends like going to top B schools, and other friends who are already in B schools, they are like posting their post on LinkedIn like we are placing with so and so big companies, and like starting a good career. So so that was a kind of some moment of like realization for me, like okay, like I need to be serious with this right now. And then like sir, I started with my CAT preparation. Like you can say that by July, like I was kind of very serious with my preparation, and I started there from onwards. And then
Okay.
yes, sir, that was
Go ahead.
yeah. And then sir, like by the end of the September, sir, like there was this thing, like there was a change in pattern. So that was something, so like we had to adapt, because uh, there people were uncertain about the number of questions, and like what could be the difficulty and all. And in fact, CAT 2020, like it proved, like how like uncertain can be a CAT exam. So yeah, that was a good experience, like to like face such kind of things.
Okay. Which slot were you in CAT?
So I was in slot 2, sir.
Okay, so you were not as badly affected as the people in slot 3 who said like mera life barbaad ho gaya because of this and all those things. And slot 1 people were basically like, okay, it's random. I mean,
Yeah,
slot 1
it was
people were the
uncertain.
worst affected.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Slot 3 people were massacred. Slot 2, I heard like, okay, you had some time to react. I'm not sure what happened in slot 3. People still don't know what came out in slot 3, but yeah. Uh, so on the day of the CAT examination, I mean, did you you knew going into it that there was a change in pattern,
Yeah,
right?
yes, yes,
And you also knew what the new pattern was. Like for example, in LRDI there were 6
six
question
question.
sets.
Yes, yes,
In the number of questions had not decreased as proportionately as the time. Like for 3 hours there was 100 questions, but now in 2 hours you are like 78,
70.
76, 78 questions,
Yes,
right? So what was your reaction? I mean, like how did you take in uh, that particular information,
yeah.
and how did you adjust your strategy or
Uh,
gameplay, whatever you want to
because
call it?
strategy was so like it was already set, like while we were giving mocks, because like when we were taking mocks in September, since most of the institute they weren't sure of the number of questions, so they were giving mocks of different number of questions. Like we had few mocks of 72 questions, few mocks of 76, and few mocks we even had of 80 questions. So we were a bit accustomed to that. But like so, in DILR, a set of 6 questions wasn't something that I was expecting. And like that set was like kind of a clickbait in like YouTube thumbnail. Like people tends to become a greedy, like like if we like concentrate on only 2 sets of like set of 6, so
That's
we
half
can
the paper.
discourage. Yeah, that's half the paper. But still, sir, like, like there were few questions like, which cannot be solved instantly at that time, say, given the like pressure that we have, and the time constraint that we have. Because the main like what I'll say that that in this year of CAT pattern, so there was any kind of such recovery time. So like if you're wasting a time, like you can't recover in another set or any other thing. So and accuracy was something like you need to focus on a lot. So yes, sir. So that was all regarding the CAT 2020 strategy.
Okay. Okay. So tell us a little bit about your preparation schedule. You also started because lockdown, you had extra time. You also started stock trading. right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
yeah, we'll come to that a little later. But
Yeah.
how did you manage your work, stock trading, as well as CAT preparation?
Yeah, yes, sir. So, sir, like during the lockdown, so like
Was there like
actually,
a, okay, more
yeah.
specifically, if I want to ask, was there like a timetable that you followed, or like it was just random, or like how was it going?
Yes, sir. Like like while working, sir. So, like, sir. First, you to start with the VRC part, sir. So, reading was something like which is very important, and you need to be consistent with that. So, like when I asked, earlier, like a few of my friends who cleared the CAT, so they suggested me to start with that RC99 booklet. So, like which has, 33 easy, medium, and beginner type of questions. So, I first completed, like that easy part set. So when I started to gain a bit of confidence, so what I did was that, so whenever like I used to get up in the morning and used to get ready for the office, I used to solve at least one RC passage from the previous CAT paper. So there are many online resources, like from where you
Yeah.
can get that and solutions. So every day morning while I used to get up, I used to solve one RC, one either DI or LR set from the CAT, and five or six, let's say arithmetic questions. And then after that I used to head off to my office, and then office used to be kind of hectic. And during the lockdown, so like I was like basically like we were looking after the production part also of our company. So there we had to spend a bit long working hours because due to shortage of the manpowers, and like we had to stay in the plant, and we had to make sure that with limited manpower that we are using them efficiently and for all that. So like after returning from office, we used to get exhausted. So with the limited time that we had, so on daily basis, I used to sir, cater at least 2.5 hours for my cat trip. And then stock market was something that fascinated me a lot. And so like the learning that I had, like in this stock market, that really helped me in my interviews as well, because that was something like the panelists were really interested, to have a discussion on it. So yeah, so I'm just thankful for, I'm just like grateful that I was able to invest time in that and used to get the knowledge out of it. And so the daily I used to spend at least an hour like studying the markets, companies, and knowing the fundamentals and all these stuffs. And because that was something kind of becoming a passion for me, so I wasn't able to let it go apart from my preparation. So I was trying to manage the both things well. And yeah, eventually it paid off for me at the end also.
Okay. Uh, Tell us a little bit about what are the toughest parts during your preparation. So everyone has a high, which is basically like, okay, you get a CAT score, or you get a
Yeah, yeah.
call, or you convert or something. But most people don't realize that for that 1.5 months, which you actually, okay, that one moment of relief or release, right? You have a lot of pain through the journey. Like, I mean, this is not your first attempt. Number one. Number two is
Yeah.
that there are times when the scores will dip. There are times where you actually are looking at a set, you cannot crack it. There is one
Yes.
portion in maths which basically never, those type of questions you never solve, and there's a sequence of mocks where you basically cannot do anything right. I mean, no matter what you do, things are not going back. So
Yeah.
what was that moment? Take us through those moments, and how did you get out of those moments?
Uh, so the first thing, like I would, like want to tell that, when you're like preparing for such a competitive exam, you need to be positive throughout your preparation, because if you, get into a lot of negativity in your head, like that is going to hamper your preparation only. Like nobody's gonna get affected by it. So like when I used to have this low times when I used to like score low. So the first thing I used to, like sir, approach my friends. I have a very good bunch of friends, like they were very helpful and like supportive. And there were other friends, like those who have already cleared CRAT and doing well in their life. So I used to talk with them, and they used to give me piece of advices. And I used to like communicate with my other friends, like though they are senior or whether they are junior. So I don't used to like sir, create this bias that like I'm kind of a senior, so I won't approach a junior, like, to get tips or tricks from them. So I was a kind of way I just wanted to get through it. So I was trying to approach as many people who can give me a positive advices and who can keep me positive. So that was one thing, sir, like I was doing when
Okay.
I was feeling kind of a low.
Okay. Okay. So this is something which we ask all the achievers, is that Take us through all the three areas, and what are the things which you find are the most overrated? Like people spend too much time on it, but it actually never comes up in the examination, or from your point of view, it's pointless. Not pointless, okay. It's probably not worth the amount of time that you spend on it. That is one. And the flip side, there are things which you should spend time on it. Unfortunately, people neglect that. So let's start with one of each of these areas. So let's start with VARC part of it. What do you think is the most
Okay.
overrated part of VARC, and what is the most underrated part of VARC?
So like I don't want to like comment like whether it was a most overrated or underrated, because for me like kind of
No, this is
VRC
your, see,
like sir, it is a
the thing is, okay. So let me
okay for
put it
me.
this way.
Okay.
You are now an expert because you have converted IIM Bangalore. Okay. So from that
Okay.
point of view, what has been your experience?
Yeah. So one thing like I would like to tell that like in VRC section, people generally tend to give most of the time to like the RC part. So I think that's like when you have 4 or 5 RCs, like there might be kind of 2 or 3 RCs which might be tricky, and you might end up wasting time in that, considering the 40 minutes time that we have. So like people should give equal importance to the preparation of the VA part as well, like parajumbles, critical reasoning, and all the para summary and these
Para
things.
summary, yeah.
Yes. So so that also kind of like a kind of scoring section, like where you can solve them within a minute kind of things. So you need to balance preparation between RCs and VA part, and not give solely like importance to just the RC part, because RC like sometimes like there are few sets where there are mostly questions from fact based and you can solve them easily, but at some time like where are there inference type of questions where so like you fell in love with that passage and you like keep on like reading that thing again and again, and you tend to waste your time. So I would like say that like instead of giving full preparation to RC, like you need to be like well prepared with the VA part as well, because it's
So
kind of
don't
a
neglect
scoring
VA
section.
also.
No
Don't
VA
neglect
part.
VA. It's not
Yes,
RC. It's VA and RC. Okay.
RC. Yes.
Fine. Okay. Let's go to LR and DI. Okay. So what are the things which you found like they used to be asked in mocks, or they used to come up in mocks too much, but did not come up that much in the actual examination, and vice versa, which you thought like
Yeah.
were undercovered in most LRDI mocks, but came up a little bit more in CAT, or at least you found that that helped you quite a bit.
Yeah. So in my DLR preparation strategy, so like I used to target each and every like DI part, especially because so like that was kind of a quantity. We used to find kind of quantitative questions in that. So that was, I used to find that bit interesting, and like I love to spend time in solving those parts. And LR was something like that, so like you have to read through it and you need to understand, analyze, and then you have to solve. But yeah, having said that, all DI sections, all DI questions are not easy, and as well as all LR questions also not that tough. The main thing was that, so like I had a bit issue with like struggling with the LRDI preparation. And so if you remember, like, so 2-3 years back, you interviewed a person named Manish Gautam, who's just passed out from IIM Ahmedabad. So he was my senior in my
Yeah.
company. Yeah. So like I approached him for So I approached him for that. So then he suggested me, like to enroll your Topmytest course, and he said that like use my coupon code, you will get a 20% off as well. So like I was like attracted with that. Okay, then I'm getting a discount. So like, and like when he's suggesting that like it's a good course, and so why shouldn't I enroll?
I'll give you a coupon code also.
No, no, no. No, so I'm just
No, you can send it to your juniors. Just
so
don't worry about that. Yeah.
yeah, so I was just so like then I enroll your course in somewhere between May and June, sir. So like your course, like I felt it was kind of very exhaustive course, and like it covered all and every single topics. So I used to follow just your course, and like I used to solve questions from that only. And even like, sir, that sectional test, like you had practice tests for around 20, and then you are again released under 20. So at the last 2 months I used to practice only your practice tests. But the DILR part was something like that. So like even you solve as much many questions as you can in mocks, you still can able to find few or most of the questions which are again new to you. So And what I felt that like, sir, for that, and I had this problem that, so like, if I, used to underperform in one in one section, that morale I used to carry in the other section as well. So, I really worked a lot to, to improve my VRC section, so that when I go out from VRC to DILR, so I should be in a positive mind that, yeah, okay, I have done this part well, and I will do this one also well. So that's a part. And like coming to the CAT 2020 slot too, sir. So I was expecting that the DLR, that DI part would be a kind of a bit tricky. Actually, sir, I felt all questions were to be a bit tricky. So what I did that, sir, like I didn't aim for like to solve the entire set completely. I was, sir, starting to pick up each and every set, whichever the easy part, like I was able to get it. I used to solve one or two questions, and like from every set, like I was able to solve one or two questions all in one of the set, three questions as well. And I went through that DLR part as in such a way.
That's what you're supposed to do. I mean,
yeah. So that.
Okay. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
move to the maths part. Okay. So in maths, you have this. Okay. First of all, you're an engineer. Okay. That too from NIT, right? And
Yes,
and you have. I mean, you're supposed to be like awesome in maths, right? So how did you approach the maths part? Again, what are the areas which you felt were over tested in mocks, but maybe did not come up that much in the CAT examination, and the flip side of it?
So like actually when I started to give mocks, like I used to get very demoralized from the mocks, from the free institute that I used to take, especially in the quant part, because they used to stuff it with a lot of kind of number system questions, and PNC and probability. And when I was going through the last year trends, so a lot of importance is especially given to the arithmetic part, algebra part, and this geometry part. So when I used to find such few questions in the mock, so I used to get a bit disheartened, like, quant was strong section here, but still I'm not able to, score to my fullest in that. So, but yeah, I would say that, so like here I would like to say that the overrated part are generally this number systems and PNC and probability part. Yeah, but if you are aiming to score, like all the questions in this quantitative section, then yeah, you should give equal importance to that as well. But apart from that, so like if you are very good enough with arithmetic, algebra, and geometry section, especially these three, so you can
That's
easily
80% of the paper.
50, yeah. Oh yes, sir.
That's
so
80% of the paper, and you should be able to finish
50%
pretty easily.
Finish it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, that's nice that even somebody who is an engineer does something like cherry picking over here. Okay, so that is the first part. Now you also know that, I mean, see, you have about 3.5 years of experience, so there would be like people who would say that, okay, this is going to be my last attempt. I am not going to attempt CAT like this. Okay, and given that you had these calls, right, and you wanted to convert it, so how did you approach the GDPI part of it? What are the key parts which you thought like were going to be going to be difficult for you, and what are the key parts which you thought you had it under control over, versus like people around you, what they were worried about, and you said like, okay, I have this under my control?
So like actually the thing was that, sir, like when after like CAT exams finished, and we got shortlisted for other B schools for the interview and this all sections. So like in this year, sir, especially when you see like Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, or Lucknow, all these colleges, if you check out their composite score, a lot of emphasis was on the PI and VAT part. So sir, that can be a game changer. Like if you are not able to so perform well in an interview, like however you might however good percentile that you have scored, like it will just go vain. So in this composite course, like in this composite score part, so the things that were under my control was that, like, I had good score in my 10th and 12th and in my undergrads as well. And moreover, so like I have 3+ years of work ex, and for Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and Lucknow, for these colleges, like if you're having a 3+ years of work ex, you are getting the full marks in that. So the academic part was something profile that was my under control, and so interview was kind of something very was a game do or die situation for me. So like I cannot neglect on that. So I had to like I felt that like, okay, for this part, like I need to have a mentor who can like guide me personally, and with come up with solutions to whatever doubts and questions I had. So, so like I was again while going through the YouTube sections and all this. So I found one of the video of Sucharita ma'am of this institute, Topmytest. So like when I went through her, so this demo part and introduction part. So like I like the way, like so like how they used to like handle their like students. And then I then again read reviews on Facebook and Quora. So I felt a bit of confident with that. And owing to the like sir DILR prep that helped me like in my CAT preparation. So I was pretty confident that okay, this is something which will also like work for me. So I enrolled for that course, and then like sir like Sucharita ma'am, like she really took well she really took care of the students.
She's a hard taskmaster.
Yeah,
like,
she's hard. Like yeah, she like she never gets convinced with one of the answers. She used to like like she give equally efforts that we give like to make our answers that like perfect as it could be. So especially like for this IIM Bangalore, we have to submit an SOP as well. So for that like so I have to went with 2 or 3 proofreadings, and so then finally so like I was very convinced and satisfied with the SOP that I had. And so and then like so like the one good thing so like I felt was that like for other institutes we directly used to have this like a mock session means they'll directly take your interview, and then based on that they used to just give you feedback. But here that I found difference was that like ma'am like first she took kind of a zeroth mock, like where she tried to know more about me, and then like she gave me all basically that interview was mostly on the personal part, like kind of HR type of questions, like how would you deal in such kind of situations, what are your strengths and weakness, all those things. And these are something so like you need to come up with the proper answers, because if you're not able to, if you mess up with these answers in your final interview, then the interview might go in a very wrong direction. So yeah, so like after that like sir, I was pretty confident like with my preparation of interviews. And in most of the interviews I did pretty well. And like currently so like this a huge sigh of relief that yeah, yes, I took that course and I worked hard and I performed well in interviews.
Okay, Sucharita also tells me that you had some very interesting interviews. Like you had Elon Musk coming up in your interview, and your trading part came up in the interview. So can you tell us a little bit more about that? I mean, like, okay,
Yeah.
so trading part. Okay, how do you manage? So the thing is, if you say something like, okay, you already do trading, you are earning say decent amount of profits, people will say, why do you want to do an MBA? You already are making money. How? Were you asked that question, or what kind of questions were you asked with respect to trading?
Yeah, so that was especially ours in my Lucknow interview. So what happened is that interview was basically in the second half, around 3:30 at that time. So I waited for around like half an hour. Like login time was given for 3 o'clock, so I waited around half an hour, and then the pop-ups comes up, and like they said, okay, introduce yourself. So like I started introducing myself, like starting from where I belong, what did I studied, and about my work ethics and what are my interests and all. And then I finally concluded with that, like so my hobbies and interests are trading in the stock market and investing, and like I like playing cricket as well, and socialize with my friends. So like so in spite of giving importance to all the things that I felt that importance will be given, they again asked like, can you repeat your hobbies and interests? So at that time like I kind of like a dilemma, like what should I tell now? Like I thought like if I like tell like I love cricket, then they are going to have a quizzing session with me on like weight of the ball and diameter of the like ball, height of the wicket. So I said that okay, like instead of going there, so that won't be kind of interactive session, so that would be just like a rapid fire round. So I then thought that okay, like let me take a chance and tell them like, sir, I had this interest in the stock market, and I like I invest them in all that. So and then they started like sir asking questions like, okay, how do you pick up a stock, and like what kind of fundamental analysis that you do, what kind of technical analysis you do. And then he started asking me about different types of indicators, and he used and like so a whole round of interview went in that direction. So and then so like then an interesting question came up over there. So he told that like, see, like stock market mein to like samajh mein aata, you have a company, you have their past record, you have their like fundamentals and all sorted, and based on that you're taking decision and investing with. But said like in an MBA college, like you don't know like it doesn't have any fundamental or technical analysis, and you're ready to invest 20 lakhs in that. And then, like, how can you, like, see this as a profitable business? So in that, so like I started answering, like first I started going in a philosophical way that, okay, no, sir, like I'm investing in my knowledge, so I will gain that and all this. He said, no, 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 I don't want this kind of philosophical answer. Tell me something statistically. So I told that, sir, like, I told them, sir, like, suppose you take any top B school and like, if you're paying 20 lakhs in that, and most of those schools which are charging that fees are having a good placements of around, like kind of 25 lakhs or 23 lakhs per annum. So if I get into that, and every year I get an increment of at least 10%. So eventually there will be a break-even point where I will be able to clear off this, like investment that I have, and I will start earning profits from at that time. So then immediately he asked that, okay, then tell me that if you start earning, like 10%, if you start to get 10% increment every year, how much time will it take, like to double your earnings? So I immediately answered like, so 7.2 years. So he said that, like, how can you say that? So I started telling this, there's something called rule of 72. He said that, okay, samajh gaya. And I was like, so that was the last question that I had in my interview. And so then he asked, like, what are the calls do you have? And then he wished me good luck, and he ended up my interview.
Okay.
So
okay, tell us about Elon Musk. You also told something about Elon Musk and cryptocurrency and all
yes,
this.
So it came out something like that, sir. Like, so in this interview, sir, like I was asked, like, recently Elon Musk, he tweeted that, like, investing so much of amount in a management degree is a waste of resources. So what do you have? So what do you have to say about that? So do you think, like, whatever he's saying is correct or not? So I just answered to the panelists that, sir, ma'am, like, you cannot, like, rely on a particular person's opinion, because, like, few days back, like, he said that we'll be accepting, like, Bitcoin for Tesla, and, like, the Bitcoin, it gave a huge rally, and then after, like, it gave a good significant amount of rally, he then again tweeted that Bitcoin is now overvalued, then again it started crashing. So I just told them that, like, a person, like, who has this kind of, like, multiple opinions, so a particular person shouldn't like change his opinions based on others' opinion. So he should have a clear, like, mindset, like what he want to do in life and how he's going to approach, like what would be his approach and how he's going to achieve that, and he should stick to that game plan rather than, like, listening to some other person. So for that, they just nodded their head and then it's like, okay.
Okay, so you will be joining college in somewhere around end of June, first week of July, right? That is usually
July first week. Yeah, yes.
July first week is the earliest that you are, and you're going to be learning online. Okay, so a lot of people are also saying that, spending 20-25 lakhs for a streaming service is probably not worth it.
Yeah.
Do you have any apprehensions about it?
No, sir. Like, as long as you know education and you're getting the reputation brand from a top B school, so I don't think that you should, like, saw this. You should see this kind of this small drawbacks that a particular institution is going through because of some external conditions. Because if things would have been normal, then this would haven't been the situation. So, like, it's okay, like, to spend for that.
Okay. One more, couple of more questions, and then I'll let you go. First is, what is something which you would like to say to people who basically are like, worried, like profile scores and mocks, etc. How much was the correlation between your scores and mocks versus the actual test, as well as what was your like mental belief when you are actually entering the mocks, right? How did you tackle the mocks part of it?
So mocks is, like, kind of something, like, it's just a preparatory exam. So you should not get worried results that you're getting over there. Instead, like, so you should try to, like, rectify the mistakes that you're making. And if you're making sure that you're not repeating the mistake again in the next mock, then it's a kind of that you are slowly, like, progressing in the mocks. So that's something I would like to tell. And the one thing I would like to tell is that, so, like, I don't know, like, how many people have started preparing for the mocks. So given the 2 hours time that we have for this year CAT exam, which I hope that it will follow the similar pattern. And I feel that, like, the 2 hour time, it flies away in such a short span, like you won't even, like, have time for thinking that, like, what I was doing those 2 hours. So I just suggest them to give as much mocks possible for them to give, so that, like, because I felt that, like, this year the exam was not kind of mostly conceptual oriented, but it's kind of a very kind of speed oriented, because you should learn to like skip the questions which will be consuming your time. So by giving
It's
mocks,
like a 2020
yeah,
match,
it's
right?
like a 2020, like, so you don't need to like kind of hit every bowler, but you need to target a particular bowler where you can maximize runs from in that in a particular over. So that's the part, like you need to like identify the easy parts in every section, and you need to make sure that you solve them with 100% accuracy. And if at all like you are left with at least 10 minutes of time or 12 minutes, whatever, then in that you go for the medium or hard level of questions. But try to avoid this mistake of like giving up on easy questions at least as well. So you need to skim through the paper as fast as you can, and for that you need a practice. You can't do it within a month span of 2 months of span. So yeah,
Okay.
so that should have been give.
Okay. Second one is there are, see, first of all, anyways, we live in a very distracted world. I mean, like Instagram videos are now 30 seconds and people cannot even watch 30 seconds of it. So I think Facebook has a metric of how many people watched your video for 3 seconds, how many people watched your video for 6 seconds, or 9, 10 seconds, or something like that. Right. So that is the metrics that you're looking at. Plus the fact that we are now all, practically everyone is going to be working from home for at least, or being at home. I mean, even studying from home. Colleges are also online. We are not going to be back physically till at least March or June of 2022. Right. And we have Amazon Prime, Netflix, I don't know, whatever other things that are available. Right. All these things are there. We have Facebook, and there is nobody to look at it. Right. I mean, you're, at least when you were working earlier, you had a boss. Right now you're working from home, nobody's watching you. Right. How do you manage these distractions, and how much time did you set up aside for these distractions? Because honestly speaking, just studying for CAT is really boring. Honestly, it cannot be a full-time job. It cannot be a, I mean, it's you cannot let it become so tedious that it is going to happen, right? I mean, even if you love something, if you keep on doing it over and over again, it's going to get boring. I mean, I love a particular restaurant, but if I go there like 3 times a week, I am going to hate it, right? So no matter what happens, right? So how did you manage distractions? How did you cope up with those distractions? And when did you say, okay, this is my cheat time, or this is my, you are also a health enthusiast, right? So how did you manage all these things?
So one thing like to tell that, like if you are, like if you love something to do, like even whether it be Instagram or Facebook or binge watching, so you can't stop them at once, like I'll just stop quitting it, because that I think like it will lead to kind of more depression, that you're not doing something which you like, and you're not able to do that, and you're doing something like which you have to do out of necessity, or like, so you can do one thing, that you can reward yourself for all the hard work that you've been doing for your preparation. So like if like every day, if you're able to like dedicate at least, you set a time, like today, like I will start, I dedicate 2 hours or 3 hours for my preparation. Like if I'm able to do that, then you like keep a time, like I will do a half an hour of binge watching, or I will use half an hour of phone and do whatever stuff. And so like, and like studying also, like you cannot immediately start like say studying 2 hours 3 hours daily immediately. So what you can do is that, like, okay, today I'll just study for just a half an hour, and I will be like kind of with full focus. And then you slowly increase your time to next 1 hour, then 1.5 hours, and then you like ultimately like reach a limit where like, okay, at a particular day I can give this amount of time for my preparation, and apart from that I will give like a certain like amount of time for like my entertainment activity as well. So like said, you should have at least like, and I mean to say that you need to have some sort of discipline, at least like if you want to like crack this exam. If you like start to give excuses and all that, then it becomes a bit difficult. And yeah, like I was also kind of a enthusiast, so I have kind of a cheat meal like every week. So yeah, I used to like reward myself after like giving every mock, I guess. So whenever I used to like finish one mock, I used to order food from online, and I used to enjoy a good meal. And then I have a sleep for at least half an hour, 1 hour, and then I used to like open and check my results and what are the mistakes that I have done. And yeah, one thing, so I used to do that, like for at least maths, I used to like I have a notebook, like where I used to like at least note down the concepts, like where I'm making mistake, and which
so
help
using,
like
people are using pen and paper even these days. I thought everything was online.
No, so like that was something so like which helped me like skimming through quickly, because at sometimes like you don't feel like opening your laptop again and you like open the browser and you can go through the website and check. So like whenever like you feel that like something goes to your mind and you feel that you're like, okay, that was something I'm not able to recall, you can just quickly go through that and you can just check. I'm not here telling you to prepare a full-fledged notes, but at least write that thing and okay, this was the thing.
Whatever works for you, but at least it should be a ready
Yeah.
reckoner for you. I mean, if
Yes.
something
Yeah.
online works, you can work online. If your computer is online all the time, then do it online.
Yes.
But did you use any kind of like time tracking apps, devices, etc.?
No, so like I wasn't much into that. So I had like fixed like I just used my time, like I have this time off from like 8 to 10, and then again a 1 hour break, and then again 11 to 12. So like I used to like follow like such kind of timetable. Like if it's clicking 8 o'clock, I need to get and sit down for my study, irrespective of whatever things I'm doing. And like if I'm not able to like with some other reasons, if I'm able to like skip that time, then I had to like compensate my sleep for that. Like I had to compromise on my sleep, and like you can cover that from that part.
Okay.
So that was something.
Okay. Okay. So, guys, Nikhil, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. I mean, more than anything else, I really like the fact that you are honest and you accepted like, where you went wrong, where you did well. I mean, you are something which a lot of people can actually aim for. I mean, like, you are not like some superstar all the time. And there's nothing wrong in being a superstar, but sometimes it's pretty important to have a realistic opinion about a realistic view of what people are actually going through. You lows, you told us about your highs, and even the quirky part about your interviews. Guys, in case you like this, please do share this with your friends. I'll share Nikhil's LinkedIn profile. So in case you want to connect with him on LinkedIn, you can please do that. My name is Vivek. You're watching MBA Prep Talk. In case you are interested in any of the courses which Nikhil mentioned, I'll put the link. I'll give Nikhil a coupon code also, just in case to put it to others. Okay, guys, till we meet again the next time, goodbye and all the best. Just 1 minute, I'll just end this stream.